Hey YouTube, it's Olympus Reptiles, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects in ball pythons. That is a spider ball python. So let's just jump right into it and let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Let's deal with that first and foremost. And I know some people are going to disagree with me, and some people are going to complain, and some people are going to say I'm a terrible human being for breeding spider, and that we shouldn't do it, and all this. And I'm going to tell you straight up, to those people, you can kiss my rosy red ass right in the middle, please. Look for the target. Here is the thing about it. So when it comes to spider, there is definitely a wobble. It's a real thing. It exists. It happens. It's there. It's genetic. I had somebody get really upset earlier because I looked at some old video and they were going off because they're like a 3-year-old talking about how we talked with spider being linked to husbandry. So the wobble is genetic. However, your husbandry will affect the wobble greatly. So we're going to show you a lot of spiders, some babies, which will show more wobble than adults because they gain muscle control as adults. They kind of learn, and we'll show you a lot of adults as well. And you're going to see for yourself just how bad it is. But mainly why we're showing spiders, I want to focus on what it can do in combos. So how it's going to look in combos, what we look for in a spider, what you're able to do with it, and we'll kind of discuss that. First and foremost, what you can't do with it, because this is always something people say too, you're not going to get rich on the spider gene. Let me say it again. You're not going to get rich on the spider gene. Literally, spider does not sell for a whole lot. Sometimes in combo, spider can even lower the value of the combo or lower the market that you're selling because a lot of people don't want it because of the minor wobble issue. I get that. So if you're breeding spider, you should do it because you like the animal you're making. That's why we breed spider. All right, so let's start with a traditional straight up spider. So first of all, one thing about spider too before you get one out is it's one of the morphs that was found as an adult in the wild, meaning a traditional spider can actually survive the wilds of Africa. So all these, well, they can't eat on their own, they can't do this on their own, they can't do that on their own. How the hell was one an adult in Africa if it can't eat on its own? It's really stupid. Well, let me take that back. It's really ignorant to say that they can't eat on their own. It's just 100% not true. All of my spiders eat on their own. I'm going to prove it. Some of my largest snakes are spider. So we'll start with just a straight spider, and I say straight spider, but that's kind of a lie. I will explain. That is this girl here. Oh my goodness. Are you doing what I think you're doing? Let me check you out. I think we might be, oh yes. Yes, yes, yes. See that? See that swell right there? She is building towards an ovulation. So I say straight spider, but this is actually a spider that is double het for 2 different recessives. Got a fly on you there. And that would be axanthic and albino. So it's het for snow. It is the mother of our one and only snowball python we produce. So it has produced a snow. I produce this myself. This spider was kept above all others because of the pattern. You don't see very much spotting on her at all. There is a spot there, and this is a line break, but that's a true spot. And right there was the wobble. She does have it. All spiders do. And when her head's off the ground, a little bit of confusion up and down. Then you see when she cuts down on the ground, it's usually a little bit sideways. This is not a spot right there. That is actually a scar. When she was young, she tried to escape a loose-fitting tub back in her janky tub days and got stuck and got a scar. But even with all that, you can see she's beautifully healthy. She eats on her own. She crawls just fine. So she strikes well. I mean, she is fed live small to medium rats. And if the snake was fed small to medium rats and could not eat on its own or had so many problems striking and eating, like all these spiders apparently do, this snake would be scarred to holy hell. It's got one scar on it right there. It's from a cage. Of course, somebody's going to say I'm lying about that. That's okay too. I have better stuff to do than make up that. You just don't see that on there because it does really, really well. She's been a solid breeder for us. This will be her 3rd year in a row of production. But this is what I look for in a spider. I want that clean pattern without any dots. That's what I really, really like. I don't always get what I like, but we try. But she throws really nice, clean spiders. Let me put her back and we'll get you some combos with spider. So my first ever spider combo, actually my first ball python, I bought 2 at the same day. One was an axanthic, which will be another video. The other one was a bumblebee, and that is this guy here. Now, he just shed, and he is a little on the thin side, which is normal for him during breeding season. He does tend to thin out during breeding season and gain weight back up. He is about, I got him in 2000, and I want to say 14 or 13. So the idea that spiders can't ever become adult. This snake he was a couple years old then, I think. So he's probably getting like 8 to 10 years old at this point. And you can see he's very, very healthy for a male. He's rather large for a male. Like I say, he'll put a lot more meat on, although he actually looks pretty good. And this is what's called a bumblebee. So this is spider mixed with pastel. You can see he has a lot more spotting. The pastel with the spider is going to cause that, but the color is a lot lighter. The head is very yellow. As babies, they're very yellow. They do tend to brown out with age, which he has done. However, this snake has thrown some of the most gorgeous babies that I have ever seen. He has been a long-term breeder for us. Get back in there, buddy. Nope. He's like, no. Oh, there he went. As you can see, he found that small hole to crawl into, and he crawls just fine. Come on, get in there. Well, he's doing that. I'll show you another example of the babies he has. This is a straight-up bumblebee as well. Now, this is one of our own production. And this is one that is his offspring. She is a second-year mother this year, so she is able to produce. And again, she already had. So all this, spiders don't eat. Spiders don't do this. I want to point something out to you. Her eggs are currently in the incubator and have been for about 5 weeks. So that means this snake laid eggs 5 weeks ago. And I want you to look at her body condition already. So she already looks like she's ready to be bred again. Obviously, we're not going to do that. She waits till next year. You get confused there. But she does wonderful, really nice bumblebee produced here in-house. And again, whenever you do produce these, if you ever do get into spiders, one thing you do need to do if you are selling spiders is you need to disclose to your customers about the wobble. Show them what it really is. Tell them about it. Don't fear monger. You know, I mean, truth be told, you should do that with things like champagne as well, as they have some genetic faux pas. You also need to let them to know not to breed spider to spider, as spider to spider is a lethal combo. That is one knock on the spider gene, as there are several things that can't be bred to. Spiders should be kept out of any other snake that has that genetic disposition for a wobble, whether it's slighter than spider, which spider probably shows it more than most, but those genetic ones include spot nose. They include champagne, of course, spider. I don't think you can stick it to a few others, including like hidden gene woma. So you want to keep it away from those. Now, we have never bred those together. I don't even own hidden gene woma. I do, however, have champagne, and I do have whatever the other one I said was. So spot nose, yes. And now we did do a spider to spot nose pairing those before we realized a couple of years ago. We didn't realize that they could cause more issues, and they did cause some more issues. You saw some more severe wobble with that. However, we won't do that again, obviously, now that we know. So that is something to consider. Spider also pairs very well with things like Exanthic. I'll show you. Oh, you're in shed, buddy. He looks like crap right now, so pardon it. He's in shed. This would be, and there you can see wobble. When he's up, he's having a little bit of a hard time figuring out what's going on. When he's down, he'll get it figured out. Part of that is too, he has no vision or very limited vision right now. You can see the eyes are in blue. This is an Exanthic spider. So he was one of our original Exanthic males that we started using with the spider to get to zebra bees, which I will pull out a zebra bee for you before we're all said and done. So you start mixing these combos, and you'll see some of these snakes on different ones too as we do more videos on, you know, additional. Just really kind of a cool animal. He's actually really nice and silver. Let me show you another one, because since he's in shed, he doesn't look the best. I'm trying to focus on more adults than babies. Really? You're not going to go in there right now? And we talk about stress causing the wobble to show more. So when a snake can't see, like right now, it's obviously more stressed. So if you're keeping spider in something like this, you would want to just take a little bit more precaution. Now the babies tend to show, oh, you didn't eat. You're disgusting. Ugh. So this guy didn't eat his meal, and that's because he's in shed too. He killed it, didn't eat it, left me a present. But he is also in shed, and you can see his eyes are blue. And this is another Exanthic spider. He just doesn't look as Exanthic because he's in shed. But you can see even the baby is doing pretty good. Although I'm going to put you in a different cage, because I got to clean that one now, because you did me not a solid. You're ready for a poop too, aren't you? And some people say, well, if you set him upside down, they don't turn over. If you give him a second, even in shed, I promise you he'll turn over. He's just slightly stressed right now because I'm messing with him. Come on, don't you bite me. So I'll just put him over here. for a hot minute. You just stay right there. I'll get to you in a sec. Because I, again, have to do a little cleaning. Now, I will show you an example of the worst wobbling snake we ever produced. I've got a lot of spiders to show you, so bear with me. This is another double het spider. This one is het albino and axanthic as well, het snow. He is my worst. Actually, I take that back. He's het true ghost. So he's het ghost, het axanthic. This is the worst wobbler I have. He's always stayed as a thin male. He is one that does struggle with eating, but he doesn't struggle with eating due to being a spider. He strikes well. He is one of those few snakes that only likes African soft fur rodents. I can't get him to eat anything but an African soft fur. I've got a pied who's the same way. So as long as I give him ASFs, he does good. Anything else, he doesn't want to eat rats. So that's pretty common. But you can see, really cool animal. He's kind of that darker color. We think that's a double hets at play. He's sister to the snake we call the darkness. Also het for true ghost. But again, very, very nice spider pattern. Not a lot of dots or anything like that. And when I tell you this is my worst spider I've ever produced as far as wobble goes. And look at that. He does pretty good. Like, as long as his head's on the ground, he does great. He eats on his own. He drinks on his own. He grows on his own. It's really not what people tell you. So, put you back in there, buddy. Now, if I were to hold him, then see, he's looking up, then he would get a little confused. I'm going to show you one of my favorite spider combos before we move to some more axanthic combos, get a little color in your life. This is what's called a calabi. So we showed you a pastel, and we showed you, well, obviously a spider. This is what happens when you have a calico pastel spider. It's called a calabi. It's going to be a little bit pissed. This is going, and she's going to be a little bit tuned up because she is starting to go through building. This will be a first-year mother. She was born in 2018, so she's right on schedule. This is a 3-year-old snake that can't eat on its own, obviously, right? That is what always blows my mind. Spiders can't eat. That's total horse shit. I mean, look, people can say it. I can prove it. So people can say their point that spiders can't eat on their own. Here's proof. You've seen it like 15 times. I will do a feed video where I do nothing but feed fucking spiders if people need me to show you that they can eat on their own. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. She does wonderful. She's awesome. This is a snake I always wanted. This is one of the best combos. I see you thinking about lighting my ass up. Let's not do that. One of the best combos with spider. The spider already has a lot of white on it. So adding in the calico, you're trying to go home. Whoa, come on. Adding in the calico really makes a huge difference, along with the pastel to brighten it up. Obviously, she's a little bit freaked out, so we'll put her back in her enclosure. Come on. Get in there. There you are. Good girl. That's one of my all-time favorite spiders. Let me show you the ball python that got me into breeding ball pythons. I've made a few of these now over the years. This was a snake I always wanted. This is when you start using things like pastel and spider and axanthic. So there you go. There is your zebra bee. So pastel, spider, axanthic. You get this really cool silver and white snake with that nice black patterning. Really beautiful. You can kick that up a notch. And you can also use, right here, would be a super pastel axanthic spider to give you the difference when you make that super pastel gene. And while we're doing this, we'll just get a lot of snakes on the table because it's kind of fun. I will show you a straight up killer bee, which is that minus axanthic. And again, you can see I really do truly love the spider gene. It is one of my favorite genes. It just changes the pattern so much. And the snakes truly are healthy. They do have a tick. I mean, that's what it kind of is. It's just a little genetic wobble. It's more when they get excited than anything. It's not causing them any pain. There's no evidence that it hurts them in any way. There's obviously no evidence they can't eat or thrive or do well. I mean, their success rate is pretty much the same as the rest of my spiders, or sorry, the rest of my ball pythons. So I don't understand. They get a bad rap. That being said, when you start dealing with these and you're going to be selling these, oh, I see you. Okay. You don't, if you have a customer that doesn't want them because of the wobble, that's okay. Don't push the issue. It's fine for somebody not to want them. I'm going to put you back because you're just tuned up and you're going to get pissed off. But when you do have somebody that does want it, just make sure and explain it. You going to take another shot? There it is. Okay. I'm going to take this one back because it's just a little bit angrier than most, which isn't unusual. She's kind of like that. But you could see she was pretty accurate in what she was doing. So, oh, I got one more I want to show you, or a couple more, and then we'll take some questions from Kurt. But I obviously really dig spider a lot. She's such a big girl. This girl too, for the record, this is again that the spiders don't thrive, they don't eat, they don't do this. This was the first gold snake we ever had. It's a killer bee, and there you'll see a little bit of wobble when her head's off the ground. That's pretty common. That's kind of what wobble is. But she was producing for us without power feeding, in 2 years, and she's produced every year without fail since then. So they do thrive. They do well if you give them the proper environment. Now, if you put too much heat to one of these guys, you can and will cook them. And when they get too hot, that wobble gets way, way worse. And if you cook a normal ball python, interestingly enough, they'll begin to wobble. So when you cook a snake already predisposed to wobble, see that twist? That is wobble. Again, it's when the head's off the ground. Head's on the ground, perfectly fine. Obviously, you're going to get more wobble if you cook one that's predisposed to it. The more stressed or excited they get, the more pronounced it also tends to get, which is another reason why husbandry plays a big role. This is what's called a queen bee. So we're dealing with a lesser pastel spider. Really, really pretty animal. This with some xanthic or some calico in it. What are you thinking? Why are you going to do that? Let's not do that. Would be crazy. You don't want to be out either. Okay, come here. Just a few moments on camera before I get the last one out. So just a really pretty combo. I dig this as well. I like the pattern. So it's something I do because I like. It's definitely not something I do because of money. Truth be told, adding spider at this point in my career, to a snake, it probably adds less than $50 on average. It makes it sometimes harder to sell. So you do it because you like it. You don't do it because it's a big money maker, you know. That's the other thing that always cracks me up. It's really funny to hear people who don't breed ball pythons, nor have any intent to breed ball pythons, start telling everybody else how they should be breeding ball pythons. It just cracks me up. One more. I believe this is a lesser ghost spider, possible het, xanthic, ball python. I believe. I'd have to look at my records, but as we're growing her up. She's been one of our slower growers for a spider. So just like any snake, you will get some that grow slower than others. They're not super snakes. They don't eat better than everything else. They don't eat worse. They're just kind of like any other snake out there other than that minor tick. So really cool animals. All right, Kurt, any questions?
No.
Well, all right. If you don't have any questions. Oh, well, Jeff's in the house. He has a question. What's your question, Jeff?
Now that you've hit a couple of your gold snakes with the spider gene in there,
yes.
Is there anywhere else that you want to go to advance that even more?
Well, yeah. So, you know, for me, since my breeding dream started with a spider, they did. Spider will be integrated into that unless something comes out that definitively shows that there's a problem, which nothing has. And I'm not talking, you know, somebody on YouTube like me rambling on and saying, oh, I think it's bad. Opinions like assholes, right? We all have them. They all smell really bad. That's what my English teacher used to tell me anyway, in a much cleaner version. But I want to take what you saw in that killer xanthic bee and push that to another level, layering in things like fire and maybe orange dream until you really get to a solid white snake, or as close to white as I can get, with a lightning bolt pattern going down his back or a barbed wire pattern. That's really the goal. It's what we're pushing towards. It will take me a very, very long time. However, I mean, we're working towards it. I'm hoping to produce some fire bees this year, some firefly xanthics this year, which could then in turn move us in that direction. We will be layering xanthic into things like this lesser here, not this one, but another one. This one's too small to breed, to get some lesser xanthic stuff going, because honestly, that looks really nice as well. And start working towards those goals. So yes, I'm not done with it at all. There's a lot to do with it. Any other questions?
That was it.
All right, guys, it's all about spider. Kurt, did I miss any spiders you can think of?
No.
I'm sure I did. Like, oh wait, yeah, we did. We did. I gotta show one more. How could you forget this one? Let me put this one up. I want you to think, Kurt, what one did we miss?
Yeah.
Which one?
Spider clown.
Spider clown, that's right. So for those of you that don't know, Kurt is a big fan of the clown gene. And that has been one thing that has been escaping us on producing well. But we're hoping to produce it this year using our spider clown female, along with another killer bee we have that's het for clown. But I'll show you this girl here. She's up to size. This is not one we produced in-house, but it is definitely a spider clown, so you can kind of see what's going on there. And she is being bred to a clown male. So we're looking for some clowns and some spider clowns. We also have a bumblebee. Well, it says a killer bee when we bought it. It doesn't look quite like my killer bee. It's definitely not a straight bumblebee. So it could be a killer bee, just a different look. Could be a fire bee. I see you side-eyeing me. Don't do it. Also het for clown, so we're working in that direction. But obviously our clown's going to have some spider in it, you know. So, yeah. That is where we're working. All right, anything else, Kurt, you can think of that we missed?
No.
So when you got a spider like this who's sizing you up, or any ball python that's sizing you up, little trick, keep it occupied. Try to come from behind it. See, I'm behind it. It doesn't know, hi, you're not smart to figure this out. And just right there. We can just ball it up, no problem. Put it into the ball. Get back in there. Get in there. Put it back in. And we're not bleeding, at least not from that. I'm bleeding from a few other things. They like there, and that looks really bad. I promise you I don't know what that's from, but I swear to God it's not what it looks like. I can guarantee you that. All right, any other questions, Kurt? All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.